It's a 30-minute express escape. Get a dose of destination knowledge, inspiration, and storytelling, showcasing phenomenal travel opportunities. I'm your host and number one travel expert. I'm destinationwhatever.com. Hey everybody, it's yours truly, destinationwhatever.com here on Monday evening for a 30-minute travel express, and I am broadcasting to you from Newfoundland, and I have one of my favorite Newfoundlanders here today. She is sweeter than a box of Jam Jams, and she's going to have us drove for Southeast Asia because her name is Wendy Mills, and she is from Exodus Adventure Travels. So tonight she's going to talk to us a bit about Exodus Adventure Travels, what they do, their specialty, and more specifically, Wendy's been over to Vietnam and Cambodia, so she's going to take us on a trip to Vietnam and Cambodia from the comfort of her home. Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, go on, Wendy, take us to Vietnam and Cambodia, maid.
It's so excited to have, the opportunity to talk about this beautiful area, which is now one of my top favorite areas to travel in. Like Dave said, I'm from Newfoundland. I'm a townie. I'm from St. John's. My father's side's from Tullingate, so I'm kind of half and half. I tell people I'm half and half. But I really, really love this area. I was so fortunate to experience it twice in the past year. So we're going to dive right into this area so you can learn and experience all of the wonders of Vietnam and Cambodia as well. So, like Dave said, I'm with Exodus Adventure Travels. We are going to go over today some of the wonderful itineraries that we offer for Vietnam and Cambodia as well. But who is Exodus? We've been doing this for, over 50 years now. This is our 50th year of bringing adventures to travelers. We've got some award-winning itineraries that we do offer for you, and we focus on the active style of travel. So we do focus a lot on getting you out into the communities, meeting the locals, focus on walking, trekking, even cycling, and some cultural based itineraries as well. Like I said, we've been doing this for a while. We've got some great awards under our belt as well. 97% of our travelers would recommend us to a friend, and we have some great repeat travelers as well when you travel with Exodus. You'll have a great time and make some great friends as well. Another thing about Exodus Adventure Travelers, we are certified B Corp. So what that means is I always tell people look at the B as meaning benefiting everybody in the community, from the CEO to the owner of the company all the way down to the driver that takes you on your sightseeing trip. Everybody is paid fairly, treated equally, and have these high standards with us that we travel with. So I'm very, very proud to say that. Some of the other companies that of course, like Patagonia and The Body Shop, they are all certified B Corp as well. And we all kind of work together as a group to help promote each other, which is really great. Sustainability. So like I mentioned about the B Corp, we are big on our sustainability. Now, I know this is a lot of words, but this is just some of the highlights that we work on the ground in Vietnam and Cambodia to help with sustainability. You don't have to worry about reading everything there, but some of the highlights that I would say is that we try to reduce single-use plastic when you travel with us. So we encourage people to take their own water bottles. We provide safe drinking water in the transport that you're traveling with. There are buses that we do take, so we make sure you can fill it at any time when you travel. So just things like that. We also, we source local food and local transport as well, so it's less emissions, of course, on the community you're traveling in as well. So small group adventures. So Exodus of Travels. This is a beautiful picture of Hoi An, probably my favorite place in Vietnam. But I wanted to tell you who you're going to be traveling with. So when you travel with Exodus Travels, we are small group adventure travel. So you're only going to be a maximum of 16 people. So we only run a group, it's usually around 8 to 16, average is around 12 or so, but the maximum you'll have is 16. So by doing that, you're going to get to know your travelers. We're going to be be able to get in, get out, a little bit quicker than if you were in a larger coach. And you really can kind of get in and immerse yourself into these communities that you're traveling in as well. So, yes, this is Hoi An, probably one of my most favorite places in Vietnam, and I'll tell you about that. Now, I wanted to start with a map. Very simple. This is the Vietnam Peninsula as well. You can see Cambodia located just right next to it as well. So some of the more popular areas I'm going to say are highlighted there for you, starting in the north in Hanoi and Ha Long Bay. So a lot of our trips do start in the northern region and then we venture down to the southern region. So in the middle, we've got Hue and Hoi An, like we just saw that beautiful picture. And then coming all the way to the south, and here's where you're going to find Ho Chi Minh City, formerly known as Saigon, and the Mekong Delta. Then it's an easy transport to get you over to Cambodia from the south region, that area. So you can kind of get an idea of how it's all laid out and where you're traveling for sure. Here I am with my leader. This is two. Everybody, this is two. He was my leader in Vietnam. Great leader. So funny. Lots of stories. When you travel with Exodus, I wanted to say you are going to be traveling with local leaders. And it's so important. We're not bringing people in from Canada or the US to lead these tours. They're from the area. They're born and raised. They know the history. They know the best restaurants. They know the secret passageways. They know how to help people as well. So we've had somebody, something as simple as one lady lost her contact. And she said, "Oh my God, I don't know where to go get my contact." Oh, he knew too, took her to optometry and she was able to get it replaced. Not a problem at all. So they really do kind of take you away from the guidebooks. You're just following the tourist things. He actually brought us to a beautiful restaurant that he used to go to when he was in university to have pho soup. So things like that, you really get to know them and learn about their families, which is great. In Vietnam, we do have a variety of accommodations that we do use as well. We try to stay in locally run accommodations wherever possible, clean, comfortable, authentic accommodations, local owners on site. They run anywhere from about a 3 to about a 5 star, depending on the trip that you do go on as well, depending on where you go. They're traditional buildings. And I have a little snippet of some of the accommodations. I know there's a lot of pictures here, but you can see things from the, top left, we've got our boat that we go in Ha Long Bay, which I'll tell you about as well. Then we have beautiful spas in Hoi An. We've got homestays that we stay at. There's also beautiful beaches in Cambodia and Vietnam as well that you can stay at as well. So it really has a good mix of different accommodations that you're staying in. As much as we love the big chain hotels, they're great, but you want to have the feel of being in the areas that you're traveling in. So that's what we try to bring into you as well. Now, when to go? When are you looking at the best time to go to Vietnam? So it depends on which area you're traveling in. So the North region, that's going to be your Ha Long Bay, Hanoi, up in the north. Dry season. So it's always best to kind of travel around October to April. Then come the summer, you're going to get the rains. May to September is going to be your monsoon, very wet rains, and then actually gets a little chilly from November to February. I mean, not as chilly as we would say here in Canada, but probably, you need a nice sweater to get you going through the day. Now, the South region is totally different. This is going to be more of your tropical climate. They're going to have their wet season starting May to November. I was there in October and we had beautiful sunny days, but every now and then, the rain would come in and it's those heavy downpours of rain where everything is a flash flooded. And then within a half an hour, it was all dried up and sunny again. So it's one of those kind of rains that you get kind of in the south as well. Now, the thing to notice as well, when I have Ha Long Bay listed here, sometimes during, even during the dry season, sometimes the winds may pick up or you may have rain, of course. So I always mention to people that there is a small chance that the boat trip may be canceled. However, we've been have a really good success rate, but it is good there to keep in your mind when you're traveling as well. Oh, the food. Oh my goodness. This is probably my most favorite. thing about Vietnamese culture is the cuisine. A little bit of everything. You know, you've got your sweet, your salty, your spicy, your sour, you've got your coconut, you've got your beautiful flavors and spices that you're traveling in as well. And fresh, so fresh for sure as well when you're traveling. With our trips as well, there's a lot of trips that we do offer you do traditional cooking classes. So you can actually go and learn to make some of these beautiful cuisines and take them home with you as well. I'm gonna make you all hungry now after hopefully you had your dinner. So some of the top traditional dinners that you'll have in Vietnam, and I think I've ate every one of these, is the pho soup, of course, banh mi, which is a traditional Vietnamese sandwich. And this comes way back from their history when they had French settlement, and it just continued on, and now they put a beautiful Vietnamese twist on it. Go chun. This is just a vegetable spring rolls, of course, fresh spring rolls, and then banh yo. I'm saying it right. This is almost like an egg fritter. So it's almost like an egg dish that they use as well. So some beautiful, I mean, there's tons more. This is the ones that you'll see probably mostly everywhere when you're traveling, but you will see other ones as well. But then I also wanted to talk about Cambodia. Cambodia has their own traditional dish as well called the amok. And it's there kind of in the middle. It's a curry coconut mix. Oh, just beautiful. You can get it vegetarian, fish, chicken. So wherever you're traveling, the food is amazing. And you can get it in different spice levels as well. They're very used to asking you, how spicy you want this or how light do you want this? But the food will definitely leave an impression on your heart and stomach, and you will want this again for sure. Now, our top destinations in Vietnam, I just kind of have some of the highlights here that you may have heard of or familiar with the names. And a lot of these destinations we do stop at as our tour as well. Ho Chi Minh, of course, Saigon, big, big city. This is your traditional kind of Western feel kind of city, large traffic, but it's still something to experience for sure. You've got Da Nang in the center, which is home to these beautiful beaches. How Long Bay, of course, those monstrous mountains coming out of the ocean. Hoi An, which is kind of the cultural heart of Vietnam, is how I like to describe it. Hue is the location in between Vietnam where the North and the South during the Vietnamese War was the central location. They called it their DMZ zone. So this is where the cut went from the North and the South. Hanoi, again, in the north is the capital of Vietnam. Mekong Delta, of course, in the bottom, and the Chuchui tunnels, which is something that is absolutely amazing. We'll talk about, and I've got some pictures to share for you as well. These date back from the Vietnamese War, where the Viet Cong lived, and they had such an intricate level of tunnels built to hide from the soldiers, of course. Now, in Cambodia, some areas that you may have heard of or used to seeing, of course, is Siem Reap and the Angkor Wat complex. They're very close together. Most of the times we'll stay in the town of Siem Reap and continue over to Angkor Wat for your sightseeing. Phnom Penh, the capital, of course. And then in the southern region, you have Kemp and Kampot. So anybody that's, into cooking or have heard of the Kampot pepper, this is a famous pepper, and it's only found in the southern region of Cambodia. And this is something, it's almost like champagne from France. You cannot say it's a Kampot pepper unless it comes from this area. So it's very famous for that area as well. And of course, it's beautiful beaches along the coast in Koh Rong Island as well. Now, the Mekong Delta, got a beautiful picture here. This is a village that is lush. It is grown. Everything here is just, they live on the waterway. You're going to see everybody in boats. You're going to see houses on boats. You're going to see markets on the boat. So they live in these boats, and the markets, they come up, they're selling their wares. They're so used to being on the water in this area. So this area is great, of course, for fish, for seafood when you're traveling down in this area, fresh fruit as well. Very tropical feel in this area for you. The Ho Chi Minh City, oh my, this is your Western. feel. A lot of large corporations have their offices here now. So it's a very, cosmopolitan city. It's very vibrant, bustling, and historic. Neat thing to know, see if I can get my they have a population of about 10 million people and about 700 million scooters. I have never seen so much scooters in my life in one city, in Ho Chi Minh, in Saigon. Now, the thing is, they do have quite a large tax on buying a car. So a lot of people can only afford scooters. So you will see everything on scooters from five people and a cow and a goat and a chicken, just to one person as well. But it is a very bustling city, and even just crossing the street is quite a feat in itself to get yourself from point A to point B in Ho Chi Minh. Some of the highlights in the city, though, of course, you're at the beautiful palace that we have on the top left, gardens there. But the one that I really wanted to talk about was the War Remnants Museum. This is where they have the museum depicting the war in Vietnam, and it is very sobering, shocking at times to go see it. It's got photos from, the children and the people that were impacted from the Agent Orange in the area. And, it really just shows the horrors of war, not just even on the Vietnamese people, on the US soldiers as well. And it is something to see. You could spend hours and hours there just going through the rooms, reading about the history, and it really does have a very poignant, really does touch your heart when you're there seeing that, of course, and that is in Ho Chi Minh City. Now, as well, attached to that, like I mentioned, the Chui tunnels. These are a network of tunnels. At one point, they were 250 kilometers long. It was almost like a town in itself. They had kitchens down there. They had, factories to make weapons. They had schools down here. They lived down here. They all lived underground to hide from the soldiers, of course. And this is where the Viet Cong, this is where they head out. They hid during the war. They had quite a, intricate layout of these tunnels. And you can actually go down and see them. This is our tour leader showing one of the entryways. Very small, very quaint. We just decided to look in. We were like, nope, we're not going to fall down those. We wanted to see that. But you can see how small and very strategic they had them set up for you. We actually were able to go into one of the tunnels. This is our tour leader too. It was so small, we couldn't bring any backpacks. There was no way to fit it in there, so we decided to hold on to our backpacks, of course. I took a picture because they look so funny. But the tunnel in the middle here, this is the one that we actually went through, and we had to bend over. We couldn't walk straight up. You can't tell there, but I'm hunched over about halfway, scrooting through on my, bent over. Once we got to the top, we found out, Tu mentioned to us that this tunnel, we were like, oh my God, that's so claustrophobic. It's so small. He told us this was actually expanded for us tourists so we could walk through it. So it was actually smaller in real life, which was just blew my mind. So I just think it's an amazing thing to go and see this and see it. Like, I mean, they lived, this is how they lived, hardly ever came out during the war. This is where they lived and functioned. Also in that area, you're going to see some great, demonstrations of I'm going to call it the booby traps. They were booby traps. So these were in the jungle. They'll give you a demonstration how they work. Something as simple as that very first one, that stepping on a hole and you can see that nail at the very bottom. And then your foot is stuck. You try to pull it out. You've got all those nails there keeping your foot in place. One in the middle was almost like a spinning. So you stepped on that, you spun, and you were right into the nails. And then the last one was something that they hung from the rafters at the door well. So when people would kick in a door or come into the door, it would automatically swing down And you get to see these. There's more, of course, that I don't have here, but there's so many of these little traps that they had listed. So it's a great way to see this. And again, this is just by Ho Chi Minh City. Now, moving to the central port was Hoi An. Now, Hoi An is, like I said, is probably one of my most favorite destinations in Vietnam. It's a UNESCO city, so they do have regulations on this city in building codes. As you can see in the bottom left, all the houses are traditional style. They're still yellow. There are not a lot of skyscrapers. It's very historic and traditional. This is where you're going to see the beautiful paper lanterns. You can do a work class to learn how to make them, to paint them. There's boat tours that you can do as well. Beautiful temples in that area for sure. And this is actually it's known for its fabrics, and you can get a suit made, a beautiful suit within 24 hours. And even on our tour, we had two people get suits made that were just made to order. They picked out the color of the suits, the inside of the suit, absolutely beautiful. We had a lady and a gentleman, and it just, this area really is, it's a beautiful area to see this. Now, also in the Hoi An area, you're going to find the basket boats. Here's a basket boat. This is actually a picture from my tour. These are two ladies, they're retired teachers. And I just love this picture because it just shows the joy. These are actually traditional boats that they used in the area to get from the mainland out to their villages. And it was a functional boat. Now, of course, they take us beautiful tourists out for a ride, and they love to give us a little bit of a whirl. Yes, this is so the basket boats are something that you can do in Hoi An as well. I highly recommend it. It's quite a thrill to do that for sure as well. Now, in the Hue, like I mentioned, this was kind of the central area between the north and the south. And you're also going to find the beautiful Forbidden Purple City in Hue as well. And that's this fort that you have back there. And most of it was destroyed during the Tet Offensive, which was actually the part of the Vietnamese War with bomb holes. You can see some of the destruction, but they have gone in and replaced it, and it's absolutely beautiful to see as well. It's such an important area because this was kind of the free area, I guess. You'd have the north and the south. Families would meet there, of course, that were separated, and yeah, it was very separate, a very important area in Vietnam as well. Now, Hanoi. So this is again your capital of the north. This is more of a traditional city where I said Ho Chi Minh is more of your Western, got a lot of corporations there. This is still a big city, but it still carries that beautiful traditional feel when you're in Hanoi as well. And with a lot of our trips, we do start in the Hanoi area. So I usually do recommend coming in about a day before. So just to get your bearings, walk around, see everything, of course. And then about an hour from Hanoi, we have Ha Long Bay. This is your beautiful UNESCO site. We stay in a beautiful junk boat, a traditional Vietnamese junk boat. We go out, we spend the night, we spend one night floating around the beautiful Ha Long Bay, little snippet of your boat there. But what we do, and I love what we do, is you're going to see all these big fancy boats floating around, but we always try to stay in the traditional junk boat, the beautiful teak wood. These are traditional fishing boats that are now set up for us. And we actually do get our own boat. There's no other travelers, just our group, which was great. This is some beautiful sundowners. We were up having a relaxing evening, watching the sunset. And it was just absolutely beautiful just to sit there and just float around Ha Long Bay, and it was just something surreal to look out and say, I can't believe I'm here looking at these beautiful mountains. Now, to get into some of the different ways and different trips that we offer, we have some trips that are, 2 weeks. We do one that's 11 days. We have different ways to see it and different stops along the way. So the first one I have is the Vietnamese Adventure. Vietnam Adventure covers all of pretty much just the Vietnam area for you. You can see in the map It's going to start up in the north and we come all the way down to the central location. Then we fly down to Ho Chi Minh as well. So great for somebody who wants to really see everything when you're traveling there as well. We get to see a lot of the major cities, of course. We go out to Ha Long Bay. We get to visit Hue, like I mentioned, and Hoi An. So this is a great trip for stopping at all the destinations that I mentioned for you. Then we have Trails of Vietnam as well. So this one is a great option again, but it's more focused on activities and it includes a few extra destinations, of course, in Da Bac in the north. And then we also come down and do the Mekong Delta for this one as well. This is train. So we do a lot of more multi activities on the trails one where we do cruise, we do kayaking as well. We do, we go to the hill villages with Dabak with this one as well. So this one is a little bit different than the first one just because we do more of an active feel on this one where you do your cruising and your kayaking and we do a day walk as well. Now, if you are into cycling, we have a cycling Vietnam trip. It's probably one of our top cycling trips. 2 weeks. You can also do an e-bike as well if you want to. It's definitely there for you. Again, we start in the north. We come down, we take a train from Hanoi down to Hue. And let me tell you, that is an experience. It's comfortable, it's clean, it's wonderful, but it's great just to experience the train system in Vietnam. To do that, if you're adventurous, we take the bikes, they go right on to the train, and off you go for sure. And then you follow the coast. You go all the way down the coast, beautiful beaches like you see in that picture there in the top right. And then we finish into Saigon and we go to the tunnels as well with this one. Now, bringing in Cambodia, we've got our Southeast Asia Express trip. This one is 11 days. And as you can see, this one is more of a southern region. So this one's going to take in your Ho Chi Minh, the Mekong Delta. Then we come into Cambodia and do Phnom Penh. We go up to Siem Reap, Angkor Wat, and then we actually finish this trip over in Thailand. So it's more of a southern region, more of an express trip to get to see the three countries and experience the best that you have in the south as well. A lot of highlights on this one as well, of course. We're going to go into Phnom Penh, famous for the killing fields. And this is something, again, that is very prominent and something once you see it, it's the when the ruler of Pol Pot's, came in and he wanted to cleanse the Cambodia from the intellectual people that were living there. He tricked them. A lot of them lost their lives. And you see the history and you learn about that as well. And then, of course, we do the Angkor Wat in this one for sure as well. Now, a 2 week trip. If you are one of those people that you want it all and you want the luxury, high end, give it to me all, give me the best. This is our premium adventure. It's 2 weeks, Vietnam and Angkor Wat as well. Now, here's your little map that you're traveling. Again, we start in the north, but we're going to fly. We're going to fly you down to Da Nang. You're going to get out, you're going to explore, you're going to see everything in that area. Then we fly you to the Mekong Delta, and then we fly to Siem Reap. No long bus rides, no trains, nice flight, quick, easy, and a little more luxury feel for you as well. The hotels that we use on this one for our premium, again, absolutely beautiful. Down at the bottom, you're seeing Hoi An. That's the one that we are using for this one. Beautiful spas on site as well. And so this is great for somebody that wants to see both of the countries, but a little bit more elevated, a little bit more higher end for sure. And here are some great pictures, of course. We get a full day on this premium adventure to explore Angkor Wat. And that was something really that when I got there, I didn't realize how big the complex was. I just assumed, you had that one little picture that we always see, and that was it, one little palace. It is absolutely amazing. You could spend full day just going in and out of the temples and looking at the beautiful artwork and carvings in the Angkor Wat complex. And it just, there's just something new around every turn. Even these, these soldiers in the top middle here, the detail that has been carved into their face is just amazing. So you could spend all day just really kind of exploring and looking around the Angkor Wat. Now, this is the trip I did. It's a 12-day trip, Vietnam and Cambodia highlights. I feel that it covered pretty much everything that I wanted to see in the area for sure. You can see there is flights, so I flew as well. The hotels we used here was more, this is our traditional style, so maybe about a 3.5 star accommodations. It's very similar itinerary to the premium one, but just now the hotels are more 3.5 star. So again, we did Hanoi. We went out to beautiful Halong Bay, came into Hoi An, and then flew into Ho Chi Minh City and flew into Siem Reap. And then we drove from Siem Reap down to Phnom Penh, which was about a 6, 7 hour drive. Good paved roads, no problem at all. Lots of stops along the way. So even that was a great experience just to take that drive down. Some of the highlights, of course, I mean, you got to see some of the big cities again on this one: Halong Bay, Hoi An, Ho Chi Minh, Hoi An and Hanoi. You get to see everything, but also you get to see the most popular areas in Cambodia as well, such as Siem Reap, Angkor Wat, and Phnom Penh. So it's a great option for somebody that only has a short time to travel. And I wanted to share with you our group. This is our group. And then we had actually a new leader when we came into Cambodia. This is Fila and our group behind here in front of the Angkor Wat complex as well. Now you're up for a big adventure. We're going to cycle again, but this time we're leaving Vietnam. We're going to go all the way across 3 different countries, and this is cycling. So we do have your e-bikes for you as well if you wish to use these for sure, but you can have a look at this itinerary. Absolutely amazing. And you're with a small group the whole time. When you do a cycling trip with Exodus as well, you always have vehicle support. So if one day you get cycling and you wake up and you're like, oh, I'm just not feeling it today, or I gave it too much yesterday, I'm going to take today off. There's always a vehicle support that you can jump into and you can relax and just catch your breath, even if you want to take an afternoon or something off as well. So this is a great adventure. If you are a cyclist looking for something to do on your bucket list, 2 weeks traveling from Vietnam all the way over to Thailand. Small group, like I said, only up to 16 people. We have our vehicle support as well with you as well. And you get to see some of the highlights of Southeast Asia's area for sure. We go in again to the Phnom Penh and to the Killing Fields, and then we do the Mekong Delta as well with a homestay, which is really great in this area. And I just wanted to share with you before I finish these guys. These were some beautiful monks in training that we met at a monastery in Cambodia. They were more interested in us, I think, than we were. They were great. They all wanted to know our names. They wanted to speak English and practice their English with us, which we did as well. So I love these guys. We asked if we could take a picture. So this is my memory of Cambodia, these little guys hanging out and talking about their culture for sure. And that's pretty much that's all I have right now. I just wanted to say thank you guys for having me today. I'm just gonna stop. There we go. And I don't know if you want to do some questions or if we want to do.
We don't have any questions, but what I just wanted to first, obviously, thank you for taking us on a
Yes.
trip to the other side of the world. I mean, so many things that come out on your trip. Let's look at Angkor Wat. I mean, it is the largest religious site in the whole world. So
Yeah, it's
obviously,
amazing.
yeah, a day there. And the other thing I just wanted to add, Wendy, to the mix, and I mean, you touched on this, but just to really make sure that the viewers at home are capturing that Vietnam and Cambodia, in my opinion, the concept is about layers of history. We have the most recent history with the war. Before that, we have colonial history, the French
Yes.
history, the Indochina history, Chinese
It's a lot of
history.
history.
A lot of history. I'm going to keep going. Then you get all the imperial history. Look at the palaces and stuff. So three main layers of history in Vietnam. And it's a spot, I would say, if you're at home and you're watching and you're thinking, I want to go, if you have 2 to 3 weeks, Wendy has shown us some ideas to definitely fill up the itinerary.
Yeah.
March, April, May. Wendy, you folks gonna have some cyber sales coming up soon?
Yeah, so keep an eye. I know Dave will probably be sharing coming out very soon. So we will have some Black Friday cyber sales launching. So keep an eye on that. Can't say too much just yet, but it will be
No.
coming for sure.
Mhm.
And I must say, like, Vietnam has touched my heart. It's just so much history, like you said, and it just goes back and back and back. And even from like, learning about the Khmer Rouge and that in Cambodia and the Pol Pots and that whole movement and learning what happened and those people, they're so resilient. And, even just going to the Remnants Museum in Ho Chi Minh and seeing the history of the Vietnamese War. And these people are so, they hold no grudges. They're still open arms and they are just wonderful people. And just things like that really hit you. And they're proud to say they're from Vietnam and they love talking about the history. With Exodus, we try to get you close to people. We went and we met this older gentleman. He didn't speak any English. He played a little guitar thing. I don't know, Vietnamese. I don't know what you call it. And he wanted to tell us about his wife and his children and his village. It was just amazing just to sit with him and to talk about it. And he was like an 80-year-old man, and he just wanted to talk to us and tell us about it. So things like that.
So Wendy, like what going over there, and I know you've been twice, but if we think about the first time you went over there, what demystified you when you got to Vietnam and Cambodia?
Yeah, well, first of all, it's the landing in the Hanoi. It's quite a busy city. And I got there late at night and it was quiet. And I was like, oh, this is great. And then I woke up the next day and I kind of went in a day before as well, just to get over, jet lag and everything. And I went out into the streets and I was like, oh my goodness, I've never seen so much traffic in my life. And just being in that for the first day was very overwhelming. But you get used to it. I was like, oh, I can't cross this street. And by the time my tour was finished down in Ho Chi Minh, we were like, oh, come on, we got this. Let's just cross the road. We were like, let's just do it. So that is something to kind of get used to. But probably my favorite place was that Hoi An because it has the traditional feel, of course. You've got those buildings that are they're not allowed to expand, so they still have that feel and culture in the restaurants. And in that area, we do a lot of cooking classes as well. So you go and learn how to make these beautiful dishes. And then even just in Cambodia, Siem Reap. Siem Reap, I really thought in my mind, now this is me as a traveler who's never been there in Cambodia. I didn't know what to expect for Cambodia. I thought I was going into just huts and rice fields. That's just my ignorance. I thought, oh my God, there's going to be nothing there. When we landed in the Siem Reap airport. It is brand new. It had just opened 3 weeks prior to us getting there. Clean, crisp, like something you would see here in Canada, one of the beautiful big airports. It would just blew my mind. And then we continued into the town. Beautiful, beautiful restaurants, lovely sightseeing, lots of shopping. It was so westernized. I had gotten Cambodian money at the airport thinking that, oh, I need some local currency. Get to the restaurant, they're like, no, we prefer US dollars. I was like, what the heck? What did I do? So that was probably a big shocker for me was Siem Reap as well, being as updated as it is. I did not think that was going to be the case. Yeah. So
Wonderful. So last question of the evening for you, Wendy. Travel is amazing because it can change us. How did this destination change you?
I think coming back to that, like just not having this preconceived notion. Like sometimes when I travel somewhere, I have it in my head. I have this preconceived, oh, it's gonna look like this, or it's gonna be what I've seen in movies and stuff like that. And then when I get there, it's totally different. So I think that traveling in these destinations really knocking out these preconceived misconceptions in my brain that I think, oh God, I'm going in, am I going to have water, am I going to have toothpaste, oh my God. and you get there and there's a full market where you can buy anything you want. So I think that is kind of what has changed me in this area, is realizing that don't have, preconceived misconceptions. Go and have an open mind and just expect everything when you get there, any of these places.
Totally. And I think that's a great segue for me to come in and just let the people know, if you're wondering how does it work, I am here at destinationwhatever.com to connect with you for no additional charge. Of course, if Exodus is having a sale, I'm going to get you the sale. I'm going to get you set up with that. I'm going to help you cut through the many options. Wendy showed us a lot of different
Yeah.
options, and that's just for that part of the world. They have other types of trips for other parts of the world. So a great way to start the conversation is to get in touch through my website and simply say, "Hey Dave, I'm looking to do this destination at this time of the year, or this is the idea. If you can plant a seed or give me a little bit of an idea where you're at, I can help develop that and take it all the way for you." So I'll await to hear from you on my website. In the meantime, if you've enjoyed tonight's travel presentation and you'd like to mark your calendar for an upcoming travel presentation, I have two that I'd like to let you know about. Feel free to check out the details on my website, and you can RSVP so you have the Zoom link at your fingertips. On November 18th, Nathan will be here from Adventure Canada. He did a really unique sailing from St. Pierre, the French islands off the coast of Newfoundland, all the way up to Iqaluit. So that sailing went down around the remotely populated south coast of Newfoundland, up through the west coast, up through Labrador, and then all the way up through Frobisher Bay. So some really unique parts of Canada. And he'll be here to talk about the landscapes he saw, the vessel he sailed on, what it's like to sail with them. So if you're interested in doing a Canadian Arctic expedition, tune in on November 18th. And then on December 2nd, we're going to the other side of the world because I want to show you a different way of doing Australia. And we're going to have Kristen here from Silversea. And she's going to talk
Oh,
to, oh, yes.
Kristen's great.
Yeah. Well,
Lucky to
she's
get
going to take
her.
us.
She's a busy lady.
She is. Well, I'm going to tell you how I got her because she's got a really cool destination. And here at Destination Whatever, I love to talk about an unusual destination. And it's Northwest Australia. It's a region called the Kimberley. And you're going to
Yes.
sail there with Silversea from Darwin. They're going to take you out and give you your Crocodile Dundee fantasy, but it's as fabulous as Priscilla, Queen of the Desert. So it's a totally different way to do Australia. And she's here to take us down under and talk to us about the Kimberley on December 2nd. She's been down there, so she's got some great,
Nice.
yeah, we're going to unpackage those stories. So keep an eye on those folks. And of course, again, it's Black Friday, cyber sales, call
Yes,
it what you
stuff is
will.
coming everywhere.
It's
Get
coming
ready for
down
it.
like raindrops, and I'm here to help you catch it on my website, destinationwhatever.com. Wendy, before we sign off, any final words for the people?
I just want to say thanks to everybody for tuning in today. And please, like, if you have any questions, I mean, Dave is awesome. He definitely would help you, but open your mind to, I always say, people like destinations that you would never think of, or places that you say, I'll never go there. Just kind of revisit it sometimes. Because I used to be that way as well. Like, oh, I'll never get to Vietnam. I don't want to go there. When I went there now, it is one of my most favorite places I've ever been to. So I just wanted to say, just see as much as you can, try to experience it, and really get in and immerse yourself in the cultures that you're traveling in as well.
Oh, I just love that. Well, I couldn't even have anything else to add. So, on that note, everybody,
Love it.
I will await to hear from you. I'm destinationwhatever.com, and together, let's make all of your travel dreams come true. Have a great night, everybody. Bye for
Bye,
now.
everybody.
Thank you for watching. This has been a Destination Whatever travel production. Subscribe for all my content. Facebook at Destination Whatever, Instagram at destinationwhatever.travel, and YouTube at Destination Whatever. Or head on over to my website, destinationwhatever.com. I'm your #1 travel expert, helping travelers nationwide explore the world. So get in touch and let's make your travel fantasies come true.